In Georgian Britain, your hat could tell the tacksman something about your place in society. In 1784, Britain introduced a tax on men's hats. At first, that sounds almost comic, but the idea behind it was serious. The government needed revenue directly measuring a person, since wealth was difficult, unpopular, and intrusive. So, lawmakers often taxed visible signs of comfort instead. Windows, carriages, servants, hair powder, and hats. A hat was not just protection from rain. In the 18th century, it could signal class, profession, taste, and income. Richer men owned better hats, and often more of them. Poorer men had fewer choices. To the tax collector, this made hats a convenient clue. The system worked through licensed sellers. Hat dealers had to register and display their status. Hats were marked with a revenue stamp, showing that duty had been paid. The amount depended on the value of the hat. So, a more expensive hat carried a higher tax. The strange central detail is that the law turned an everyday object into a tiny tax document. A man did not simply buy a hat. He bought a regulated item. A seller did not simply sell fashion. He participated in a revenue system. The inside of a hat, usually invisible to everyone else, became important to the state. There were penalties for avoiding the tax or forging stamps, and the law reflected a wider 18th century obsession with classification. If society could be sorted, labelled, stamped, and licensed, then perhaps it could be made to pay more efficiently. But taxes like this had a weakness. They were awkward. They irritated ordinary trade. They encouraged evasion. They also depended on the assumption that appearance reliably revealed wealth, which was never perfectly true. By 1811, the hat tax was repealed. It had not changed the course of world history, but it left behind a revealing glimpse of how governments think strange laws often sound ridiculous only after the world that created them has vanished. To the people who wrote them, they were practical answers to real problems: disorder, modernization, revenue control. That is what connects a banned Christmas, a taxed beard, and a stamped hat. Each law reached into ordinary life and treated custom as something the state could manage. The rules disappeared. The question did not, how much of daily life can a government regulate before people begin to feel that their private world has become public property?